Today we're talking about the new record from the Raven Age, Conspiracy. So before we get into today's review, I wanted to apologise quickly. In my last review of The Verdict by Queensryche, which was last Friday, I mentioned how I wanted to have 1 or 2 videos up in the week before this one, but I just didn't have the chance to, unfortunately. It's been a really busy, mad week, and I just didn't get the chance to sit down and make a video, unfortunately. One of the videos I wanted to do was a review of Darkness Will Rise, the first record from the Raven Age. That way I would have that up in preparation for this one, so I could link back to it. But as I said, I just didn't get the chance to, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do instead is record and upload a Darkness Will Rise review in the coming week, and then I could compare that to Conspiracy. So I'll do it that way instead. So if you enjoy the review you watched today, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe. I'm working really hard on this channel, so if you could subscribe, that'd be really cool, and then you'll be notified when the Darkness Will Rise review goes up in the week. So yeah, that did work out alright. But the band we're talking about today is the Raven Age. Now, the Raven Age have supported a lot of people since they started. Obviously, Iron Maiden and British Lion, with George Harris being Steve Harris's son. They've supported Tremonti, Anthrax. I saw them with Anthrax. I think it was Killswitch Engage, and was it Shinedown as well? They supported a lot of people, the Raven Age. And they've really been getting their name out there with extensive touring in preparation for the second record, Conspiracy. Now, I met 3 of the Raven Age guys last summer. It's a long story, I won't get into it now. I met Matt, the new vocalist. I met Matt, the bass player, and I met Jai, the drummer, who they were all really, really cool guys. I still talking about the World Cup with Jai because England was still in it at the time. But yeah, I mean, they were all great guys, so all credit and respect to them. I saw them with the original singer when they supported Anthrax on the Among the Kings tour. It was at the Forum in London, February 2017. I was freezing cold watching the Raven Age though, because I think the VIP thing got delayed, overran, so the queue got delayed. And I remember just watching the Raven Age in my Anthrax suit, freezing cold. But yeah, that was a really good night. Anthrax did Among the Living and Before, and a set of other stuff. They were amazing, and Raven Age delivered a really good opening set too. So yeah, I mean, since then the Raven Age have been through some lineup changes. They've had a new guitar player and a new vocalist too. And I think the new vocalist, Matt, has really, really stepped up the game. That's not an insult to the former vocalist. He was good. However, Matt's voice is fantastic, and it really, really works on this record. And I mean, when Darkness Will Rise dropped a month after I saw them, I absolutely loved that album when it came out. I listened to it a lot when it dropped, and it is a good album. However, I do feel as a whole, Conspiracy is a step up from that. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the tracks, and then I'll go through the positives and negatives of the record, and then give an overall summary and rating to the album. So first of all, the album kicks off with a track called Bloom of the Poison Seed. This is a acoustic intro, and has the vocal line to the next song, Betrayal of the Mind, played on as the lead guitar parts. So I thought that was really cool, because Betrayal of the Mind was a single, so we heard it anyway. So when I played this intro, I thought it was really cool. I was like, oh, I recognise that, and it's cool because it links the two tracks. The intro sort of links in well with the first song. It has a classical influence on it. There's a lot of instruments on it, and I think it works really well as an introduction to the album, and really helps to create a really cool vibe, which works really well, I think. And it works really well kicking into the next track, Betrayal of the Mind. Now this kicks straight away with a lot of energy, and it's just got a heavy and huge chorus. It's got a killer riff as well. Now this song covers the theme of mental health, but in quite a different way. Instead of doing it in more of a softer and emotional way, it really covers it in quite a head-on, heavy way. And I think when this was a single, all the proceeds they received from it, they dedicated to mental health, some mental health charity. I can't remember which one it was. So yeah, that was really cool of them. Now, I wrote about this song. It has a heavy and huge chorus, and the vocals are really strong, especially on this chorus. I put the lyric "Stand and Fight" sounds really powerful with the scream in the background. There was a mixture of like the scream and the clean vocals. I think that worked really well, like contrasting together. I put this really paves the way for the majority of the tracks on the record, gives you a taste of what you're going to hear. Because a lot of the songs do follow a similar format to this song. But yeah, I mean, this song really kicks off the album in a strong way, and it's a wicked opening track to the record. There's some great riffs, great vocals, and it has a wicked chorus too. This goes into the next song called Fleur De Lys. I think that's how it's pronounced, correct me if I'm wrong. This song is also full of energy. It's fast paced with a huge catchy chorus. It has really strong vocals again, Matt really demonstrating his high vocals on this song, showing how strong they are. I put this song as a historic theme, I think he covered the theme of Joan of Arc. And a lot of the lyrics on this album do cover historical themes, but this is the first time we see it. And a good portion of the tracks do reference historical themes, such as on the first album Salem's Fate did, and things like that. So that continues on this album. But yeah, as the second song, Fleur De Lys is a fantastic track. The next song is The Day the World Stood Still. I put this has a great guitar intro that for some reason it was cut from the single on Spotify. I'm glad it was kept on the album version, because it really adds a whole different sort of dynamic to the song. It's got this really slow intro that kicks into this mid-tempo riff, and that's the third song. I really like this because it's not quite as fast-paced and full of energy as the first two tracks. It helps to bring the pace down a little bit while still keeping it interesting. Again, it focuses on huge hooks and choruses, with this track having a very strong chorus that is extremely catchy. I put the fast sections intertwined with the verse, completely mixes up the song, and helps to keep it interesting and engaging for the listener, with the low and whispering vocals. So it just mixes it up a bit, keeps the song entertaining and interesting. I wrote this song as a kick-ass solo and a kick-ass chorus, and another really good track in The Day the World Stood Still. The next track, Stigmata, it kicks in really quick. It's fast-paced, has a heavy riff, and it utilises blast beats really well as well at the start. It has sort of gent verses that sound great. It has kind of a thrash inspiration to it, considering the pace and the intensity of the track. I put the soft bridge mixes up the song again and contrasts with the energy and intensity of the rest of the track, helping to keep it interesting and engaging. I wrote this song also has great vocals and a great chorus too. And Stigmata is a wicked track and I really enjoy it. This goes into the next song called Surrogate, which was the first single they released with the new vocalist. I put melodic lead parts at the start, sound really strong. I love when the song picks up the pace and goes into that very cool riff in the verses. This was the first single with the new vocalist, and he really demonstrates his vocals here, showing how much of a strong voice he has. Again, this song has a huge chorus. I really like the lyric as well. There's a mesmerising picture, but all you see is the frame. There's a mesmerising picture, but all you see is the frame. Do we fight for what we stand? This song is really cool. This goes into the next track called Seventh Heaven, but this has a slow melodic intro that kicks into a killer riff, and it transitions well into another huge sounding chorus. I love how the dynamic bridge in this song, it's pretty quiet, and then it kicks in, back into this huge sounding section with some big vocals, and it's just a very big sounding song in general. And Seventh Heaven is a cool track, and again, one that I really enjoy. The next song is called Forgotten World. It has a very cool riff at the start. I'd say the chorus is quite hard rock. It's very catchy, it's very accessible, quite sing-along. Again, this song is full of energy. It's pretty fast-paced, and I think the abrupt ending worked quite well with the song. I like how the song just kind of like stops in its tracks. I think that was very cool. I think it worked quite well. I think it worked well because the next song on the record, called The Face That Launched 1,000 Ships, is the ballad of the record. So you've gone from this burst of energy, these quite intense, fast songs, into this slow ballad. And this song really gave me vibes of The Dying Embers of Life off of Darkness Will Rise. This is the ballad of the record. I think it's a very, very strong track. It starts off very slow and acoustic, and it just builds and builds really well, eventually reaching a climax of a great melodic solo which really complements the song, and a huge sounding final chorus. This song is very, very strong, and one that I really enjoyed. As I said, this definitely gives me a vibe of Dying Embers of Life off the first record. However, this song is just superb, and I think it still works well amongst the heavier tracks, and yeah, I think the song's really, really strong. Next is the song called Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Now, after the ballad of the record, this song is heavy straight away, kicking in instantly. It's full of energy, has a wicked riff, and I think this works really well after the ballad of the album. We get this really energetic, fast-paced, heavy track. It fits really nicely on the album where it is. I mean, it helps pick the pace back up again. The solo is quite melodic and complements the song really well. I think it just, yes, I just don't think it's too over the top. It just works nicely with the song. The vocals on this song sound superb again. This theme covers, I think it covers like war and, you know, the point of view of a soldier, and dying for your country and nobody knowing that you did, and things like that. So, yeah, I thought this was a superb track, and one that I really enjoyed. Now, I don't know how to pronounce the next song, so wish me luck. Scimitar? I don't know. Scimitar? I have no clue. Please do correct me, because I have no clue. I put this song has a bit of a different sound for the Raven Age. Straight out the gate, we noticed that the song sounds a bit different. Matt utilises his low vocals in this song a bit more. We've heard a lot of him using his high notes, but here he brings it down a bit and utilises his low vocals, which works quite well with the sort of chuggy riff. He gradually builds into using these high notes, but I love how at the start he's singing quite low and mixes it up from what I've heard from him throughout a lot of the record. I put the song feels pretty atmospheric, and it utilises some strange timings that help to keep the song interesting. Like there was a bridge section where there's a bit of a weird time in the drums. I'll play it here. And yeah, I just think this song was very cool. I think it just it's not my favourite song on the record, but it's pretty different and it helps to just like mix it up a bit. And I enjoyed it. It's a cool song. However, the last song on the record, called Grave of the Fireflies, is really where we see Raven Age at their strongest. Their closing track to Darkness Will Rise, called Behind the Mask, was like 8 minutes long. It was one of the best songs on the record in my opinion, and it was like an 8-minute epic, and it really built throughout the song as well. And this one does the same. I put vibes of Behind the Mask on Darkness Will Rise as the long epic ending track. It's about 8 minutes long. I can't remember exactly. It's just over 8 minutes. It has a slow intro that erupts into a cool riff and a big chorus. Now, I love the intro on this song. It's very atmospheric, and when it kicks in, it's very powerful. It's quite a melodic riff.
Now I've got nowhere to go, and now we've got nowhere to go.
This is a very dynamic song that uses both quiet sections and big sounding loud sections to keep the song interesting. Because obviously you've got to keep the listener engaged throughout 8 minutes, and this song really does that. I think that this song takes you through quite a few twists and turns that keeps it interesting. I put the guitar solo as kick-ass, complementing the song and adding to the big sounding track which closes the record. I love the big sounding melodic outro with a very melodic riff, and it fades out to end the record. Now, I think, actually I'll get into it in a moment, but I think the Raven Age sound really good doing like longer progressive tracks like this, because they have the ability, they've shown it twice now, one on each record, that they can do like 8-minute tracks and still make them engaging and interesting. And this is a phenomenal ending to the album, and definitely one of my favourites on it. So those were the tracks on Conspiracy. Now I'm going to get into the positive and negative aspects of the record, and then we'll do an overall summary and rating of the album too. So let's get into the positives first of all. First I'm going to say the production. I know I haven't discussed the production yet, but the production on this album sounds very good. The guitars are very loud in the mix again, like they were in Darkness Will Rise. However, Raven Age are a very riff-based band, so I think it does work for them. I think the drums sound great as well. The vocals sound great. The production on this album is just very, very strong. Everything sounds very crisp. The only criticism I'd have is I'd like to hear the bass maybe a little higher, but maybe that might just be because I'm a bass player. But yeah, I think the production on this album sounds great, and it really complements the kind of music that Raven Age are playing here. My second positive has got to be the songwriting. I think that overall the songwriting on this album is definitely stronger than Darkness Will Rise. Now, by no means am I knocking Darkness Will Rise. They had some great tracks like Promised Land and Salem's Fate and Behind the Mask. However, I think the songwriting and the songs in general just have taken a step up on Conspiracy. When songs like Betrayal of the Mind utilising their heavy side like Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, but then also showcasing their more softer side with The Face That Launched 1,000 Ships, and their more progressive side again on Grave of the Fireflies. I think that this album is just, as a whole, a step up from Darkness Will Rise, and it really does show a lot of promise, I think. It makes me excited to see where Raven Age are going to go next. Also, I think that the vocals on this album are genuinely better than Darkness Will Rise. Now, by no means am I knocking the vocals on Darkness Will Rise. However, because they were good, they did sound really good and they worked for the record. However, I just love Matt's voice on this album. I think for a band that have a lot of big sounding choruses, his voice just works so well with them, and he's able to utilise high and low vocals on this album and just mixing up his approach when need be. And I think that this album just sounds fantastic with him on it, and as a whole this album's just definitely a step up from Darkness Will Rise in my opinion. Now let's get into the more negative aspects of the album. Now, I've probably repeated myself a lot during this review, and that's because I do feel like a majority of the songs on this record do start to sound the same. I noticed it on first listen, but the album did grow on me quite a lot. But some songs on the record just start to sound quite samey, and I'd like to hear Raven Age maybe mix it up a little bit. Now they've established a strong album with the new singer, I'd like to hear them maybe mix it up a bit on their third album. Because I think that, for example, I think if Raven Age went more progressive, for example, they'd be really good. Like Grave of the Fireflies, for example, really shows that. I think if Raven Age maybe took a bit more of a progressive metal direction, then they'd sound wicked again. Maybe trying something else. But I'm not knocking this album because I thought it was really good. I'm just trying to, think of the future. The other thing as well was a lot of the tracks do sound very similar to Darkness Will Rise. Although I know they're stronger tracks than Darkness Will Rise. They do sound similar. Like Grave of the Fireflies, easy comparison to Behind a Mask. Kind of following the same formula. The Face That Launched 1,000 Ships, again, Dying Embers of Life. This album just it is pretty similar to Darkness Will Rise. Although it is stronger than Darkness Will Rise, I feel like it is very similar. And I would like to hear them mix it up on the next record a bit, try something different, push the boat out a bit further. But there's nothing really too bad about this album. I think that as a whole it was very strong. So to summarise, I think that Conspiracy is a strong album. I think while bands like Bullet for My Valentine are going off in that shitty pop direction, we have a really great melodic metal record here from an up and coming band. There's some wicked riffs on this album, great guitar work, some great solos as well. I think the vocals on this album are superb. There's some big sounding catchy choruses that will definitely get stuck in your head. I think the album flows really nicely, it's paced really well, and the production sounds really good as well. So Conspiracy is a strong record, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It's definitely a grower. I've heard it a few times and it's grew on me with each listen, so yeah, it's a strong album and it makes me excited to see where the Raven Age are going to go next. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you've heard Conspiracy, please do let me know what you think of it. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what your favourite tracks are on the record, etc. If you haven't heard it, I recommend you check it out because it's a strong album. And yeah, let us know what you think. If there's any albums in particular you want me to review or anything or check out, just let me know and I'll get to them. Also, if you enjoyed the review, please do subscribe. I put a lot of effort into these videos and I mean, I'm trying to get as much up as I can. So I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel and I'll have a Dinosaur Rise review up in the next few days, hopefully. So yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you all again soon with another video.